In this edition of reShape 333, I want to outline very briefly 4 simple habits that I've maintained for over 25 years. These are habits that have been part of my own personal formula for emotional resilience and mental health and personal productivity. I want to outline the 4 habits clearly. I want to challenge you to consider doing them for the next 12 months. And I want to do it in the next 333 seconds. So let's get at it. There are piles of great organizational tools available out there, but most of them are far too complex for me. I like simple because for me, simple is more sustainable in the long term. And so I have been disciplined with these 4 habits for over 25 years now, and especially during a chapter like COVID, when it can be so easy to lose your focus and find yourself scrolling Twitter feeds or Instagram reels or maybe even making your first TikTok. Here's my 4 habits. The first habit is reflect daily. The popular term that we now hear is mindfulness. Now, I tend to think of it personally as listening prayer or meditation. It's very simply about slowing down my breathing, slowing down my mind, increasing my state of relaxation, and listening for what my spirit might be saying to me, and then for some of you, what God's spirit might be saying to you. I still have to force myself to do this because everything in my life tries to crowd it out. But when I do, I uncover things in my life that need to be addressed, and some of my best creative thinking comes during these times. Reflect daily. Start with 3 minutes. Sometimes I go for 5 minutes, other times I have to stop after 30 minutes, but begin to reflect daily. The second thing that I do is I Sabbath weekly. This one was God's idea originally in the beginning. The scripture says that God spent 6 days creating everything that we know. And then it says that on the 7th day, he rested. God rested himself, and he directs everyone that he created to find some time to rest and to Sabbath as well. A day to reflect, to do those things that will sort of refill our emotional bucket, our spiritual bucket, and will prepare us for the next 6 days. It's not always easy to carve out that time, but we do always make time for the things that we really value and we prioritize. Number 3, I retreat quarterly. Every 3 months, I carve out a half day. Oftentimes, I carve out a full day, and I take that time to evaluate the previous 90 days and set some priorities and goals for the next quarter. I developed a one-page tool that I call my next 90-day planning tool to help me do that. It focuses me in my personal life where I establish some priorities and some goals in terms of my marriage, in terms of my kids, in terms of health and fitness and spiritual goals, jobs I need to do around the house, and so on. And then in my work life, I lay out 9 major priorities that I'll focus on in the next 90 days. 3 goals, 3 problems, and 3 opportunities that I want to address. My simple next 90-day planner focuses my life and keeps me focused. You can download it in the description below if you'd like to give it a try. And the 4th thing that I do is I vacate annually. Every year I set aside 1 week where I vacate. During that week, I evaluate the previous 12 months. I do some master planning as well for the next 12 months. I set aside 3 to 5 days for reading and writing and reflection. In the last number of years, I've been able to escape to the White Mountains in New Hampshire. It's a favorite place of ours, and there's no better place than doing some hiking and hanging out at some coffee shops or sitting in front of a big stone fireplace where you can do some of your very best reflection. But you can do it anywhere. You can go camping, you can borrow a friend's cottage, you can head to the White Mountains. Anywhere will work, but you need to vacate. You need to get away from the distractions for at least a week. And by the end of those 4 or 5 days, I hold in my hand a master action plan for my life for the next 12 months. At a personal level, it identifies my relationship goals and financial goals and vacation plans and spiritual goals, health and fitness goals, renovations that I want to do in the next year, and other projects that I'd like to start. And in terms of work, I lay out the major priorities that I'll address in the coming year and maybe some new initiatives that I want to start. When I come to the end of this year, here's the question I want to answer. When I come to the end of this year, what will make this year a 10 plus for me, both personally and in my work life? Vacate annually. I love that planning week. 4 simple habits that will keep you on track. This works, and it is so simple. I'd love you to comment. I'd love you to share this if it's helpful. I'd love you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'd really appreciate it because that will help to keep the conversation moving.